Every guest on this show talks strategy or software or growth. Today's guest is the person hosts actually call when it's all going wrong, when the cleaner hasn't shown, the guest is at the door, and the changeover is falling apart in real time. Isa Bortolossi runs customer support at Turno. She and her team see thousands of turnovers break, not in theory, but live, at scale, across every kind of host, from the first-timer to the 50-property operator. And that seat gives her a view almost nobody else in this industry has. The patterns behind the panic, the same 2 or 3 problems over and over that hosts never see coming. So what actually breaks on changeover day? What do your support tickets reveal about your operation that you genuinely can't see yourself? And why is the person on the other end of that ticket often best placed to fix it? Let's find out. Welcome to Turnover Tactics, the podcast from Host Planet and Turno, where we dig into the operational side of short-term rentals. I'm James Varley, and today I'm joined by Isa Bortolossi, Turno's head of customer support and the person leading the team that hosts reach for when a turnover is on the line. Isa, welcome to the show.
Hello, James. Thank you for having me.
It's a pleasure. Before we get into it then, this episode is brought to you by Turno. If turnovers are the most stressful part of your hosting week, Turno is the platform that fixes them. Find trusted, rated cleaners in your area through the Turno marketplace, or bring your own, then let the software handle the rest. Cleaning schedules synced automatically to your booking calendar, photo checklists, problem reports, and automatic payments. No more WhatsApp chasing, no more changeover day panic. Head to turno.com or hit the link in the show notes to get started. All right then, Isa, let's get into it. So you're the person that hosts actually call when a turnover is falling apart in real time. So from that seat, what's the support issue that still surprises you even after all this time?
Well, honestly, after 7 years, I don't think I'm surprised by much these days. But if I have to mention something, I would say it's the fact that there's always something new to learn. In the world of vacation rentals and hosting, you can never say you've already seen everything. Like my team and I used to joke, like when something new shows up, we're like, oh, and I thought I had seen everything. So we're always joking. We can't say you have seen everything. There's always a new tool, a new strategy, a new type of guest or contractor issue, or like even situations that we are trying to solve with the app itself. And then new challenges come up, like even in the form of a new, bigger host that's onboarding to the platform, bigger than the last one, which brings its own new set of problems into the roster. But it's interesting because the bigger the customer in terms of operations and properties they manage, we're always looking for ways to help them succeed at Turno.
Give us the craziest example then. What's the craziest story where you've definitely said afterwards, oh my goodness, I thought I'd seen it all until now?
Wow, let me think. Well, there was this recent customer that we onboarded into the system. Like it's a really big customer in Hawaii, and they have so many cleanings happening every week that they didn't want us to charge them for specific projects because whenever they had to pay a cleaner, it would just be too many charges coming into their payment method. So we had to reorganize and build something different for them with internal so that we can do like this some payments just for them, just to solve like this one problem that they had so they could be onboarded into the system. And we're always doing these things that I'm like, I didn't even know this would be possible. And like in this situation, for example, the team did it in like a couple of weeks. They were able to resolve it and the host was onboarded, which is crazy.
Fantastic. Too many payments. That's a problem that that's a problem I definitely like to have. So, I mean, how does seeing what really breaks at scale change the way that you think about host operations? I imagine your vision of short-term rental hosting has changed over the 7 years that you've been with Turno.
Yes, for sure. I think that when you see all of the different ways that things tend to break is when you start learning how to anticipate potential problems and how a feature is released or how a short-term rental operation is set up. So when we work in support, we learn how to strengthen the system or the operation behind it in order to be prepared for when something goes awry, because in my experience it will. So there's always an unforeseen circumstance, and even though we may not know exactly what will happen, that's why we call it unforeseen circumstance, we will have the tools to patiently steer things in the right direction again.
So give people a sense then of what your team is actually dealing with, like the volume of the tickets, the size and skill of the team behind the screen. And I'm really interested across all of it. What are the 2 or 3 problems that come up week after week after week, whether the host is somebody brand new or they're a seasoned operator?
Yeah, so about the size of the team, we are handling from 8 to 11,000 support conversations per month, which to me that number is crazy because when I joined it was what, a few hundred per month, and then now we are at this level, especially during the high season as we are in right now, June, July, August. That's when we get the highest number of support chats, and they are handled across 40 agents that are divided between 20 tier 1 agents, which are experienced agents who handle both simple and more complex investigations in order to help customers troubleshoot. Then we also have 12 tier 2 agents. These are more senior agents. They have been at Turno for longer and they can handle more time sensitive and churn risk situations, as we call them. We also have 7 interns that joined specifically during the high season to help us tackle that higher number of chats. And the one secret, the way we can handle this many chats, is our one AI specialist. She's responsible for about 40% of our support volume, which is insane. We have worked with the chatbot that we use, and we have trained it so well that it can now answer most of the operational questions that you might have. How do I do this or that with internal? It will give you the right answer. And the answers are also reviewed by our AI analysts to make sure that AI is not telling you something stupid. So yeah, like it's that big these days, and it's really nice to see. About the issues that we see the most and that come up week after week, and um, whether the host is new or experienced, running support for a two-sided marketplace, I guess, is the biggest challenge here. So the patterns are pretty consistent and honestly the same, whether they've been at Turno for a short time or for years. It will come up at some point. The bigger one is for sure payments. I actually love that payments shows up so much because it means people are earning on the platform. You know, cleaners are running real businesses with Returno. So payout questions matter enormously to someone's day, and we treat it that way. But if I'm honest about root cause on many of these that marketplace friction that we tend to see, it really comes down to the human element. So communication between hosts and their cleaners. We're here to automate the operational side. So Turno wants to help you not have to deal with whatever we can automate, the scheduling, the payments, the sync, and we do it really well. But a great rental still runs on people behind it. So, you know, there's the host, there's the cleaner, any other contractor you might have at your property. And actually being on the same page is really important. So, automation takes the busy work off your plate. So, you've got room for the communication, which is something that the software really can't replace. And that's the balance we're always designing for.
So many hosts then, they're probably convinced that their operation is fine right up until it might show up in a complaint. And what does support tickets reveal about a host's setup that maybe they can't see themselves?
One of the issues that we tend to see that might not seem very obvious from the get-go is actually in the checklists themselves. So hosts can set up a lot of different things in their properties at Turno, and I would say the checklist is one of the most important things because it touches on the communication part that I mentioned, right? Because that way a host doesn't need to be doing this back and forth, having to call their cleaner and explain what they need to do at their property. But it's not only setting up a checklist, because not having a checklist is rarely the issue. It's actually when checklists are too generic or too long or not specific to the host property. That's usually the invisible little issue that you might not realize is there, but it's going to be a real problem when a project comes up.
Quick one before we go on. I want to hear from you. When was the last time one of your turnovers nearly came apart? The cleaner cancelled, the guest showed up early, something got missed. Drop it in the comments. What happened and how did you handle it? Half the value of this show is hosts learning they're not the only ones. So tell us your changeover day horror story. It takes a couple of minutes. So Isa, you've got a story about a host who used a hand stars rating inside their checklist. So the cleaners could photo document the state a guest left a property in. Tell us about that. What problem was that host actually solving, and what can others learn from it?
I love this story. I don't even remember how we came across this one. They were probably reaching out about some technical issue, and we had to take a look at their checklist, and this really stuck with me. We saw the last item on their checklist ask their cleaner to take a photo of their hand holding up the number of fingers as the number of stars they would give the guest that just stayed on their property. It helped the host know how to rate their guests in terms of how well they cared for the property, right? And I thought that was amazing because that's the part about communication within the app that I find super interesting. You could have your cleaner take a photo of, their hand, or organize the magnets in the fridge in a certain way, or, the possibilities are endless. And it's just one example of how the creative use of Turno's features can help solve some real communication problems.
Yeah, it's a lovely idea. So here's a big one then. So over 40% of Turno projects last year were same day turnovers, which I think everybody will know. This is the highest pressure moment in this entire business. So where do you stand on backup cleaners? Is having one a nice to have, or is it an absolute non-negotiable at this point?
You absolutely need to have a backup cleaner. I feel like so many hosts think they just need one main cleaner on their property. They just need that one cleaner that knows everything about their property, and they can just use that one person forever. But unfortunately, life happens, like there will be a time. It's not if, it's when things go wrong. Like at some point, something will happen. Your main cleaner will not be available. They will not be able to make it. And sometimes it's not that they don't want to, it's just that they can't, right? Something happens, something comes up. And who do you call? Like, what do you do in that situation? And of course, you can call the Turno support team. We'll be there to help you. But one thing that we always say is that it's a lot easier for someone that already knows your property to be available for you when you need them. So something that I would really encourage every host to have is a few backup cleaners lined up, some that you've used before. Like, don't rely only on your main cleaner, knowing your property. It's easier for a cleaner that has already been to your property. They already know how to get there. They already know how to get in. It helps them be efficient and clean your property fast when you really need them, when you have a last minute cancellation from your main cleaner. If you've already used that backup before, it will be a lot easier for them to see your message, respond to you, and be like, I'll be there in a minute and I can do this, because they already know what they have to do.
Brilliant advice, yeah. And like as hosts, I think a lot of us have had that horrible call from a guest. Hi, I've just checked in, but it looks like the place hasn't been cleaned. It's the worst
Yeah.
feeling in the world, especially when you have to rush it round there and you're cleaning toilets at goodness knows what time. So yeah, not a good call to get. So yes,
Yeah.
make sure you've got a backup cleaner. So anybody who's been hosting a while, like as you were saying, it's not if something goes wrong, it's when. And that's where the Turno Cleaner Guarantee comes in. So just explain to us what the Turno Cleaner Guarantee is and what it means for a host in the moment that something starts failing.
Nice. I really love the Turno Cleaner Guarantee, or as we call them, the TCGs. It's a stressful situation, right? You had a problem with your cleaner. Maybe they no-showed, they canceled last minute, or something was not up to your expectations, and you know your guests might complain about that. It can become a real problem. So what do, right? Let's say maybe you didn't prepare with a backup cleaner, or none of your backups are available. What do? So in the past, didn't we couldn't do much. Our hands were tied, but now we have real options. Like, we can help you replace your cleaner. We can grant you marketplace credits, which right now is only available in the US, but the team is hard at work to make sure that we can open up marketplace credits for more currencies. And now we have this active hands-on solutioning. Hosts can feel supported by, all they need to do is reach out to us, explain what's happening. We can see what project they're referring to. Just tell us what cleaner, what was the cleaner involved in the situation, so that we can accurately know what to do, and we can help you find a replacement. And many times it works really well, because these days we have super cleaners, we have a lot of supply in many areas, especially in the US. And as much as Turno keeps growing, it becomes easier to use the Turno Cleaner Guarantee, which is basically like, if you use the marketplace, we can help you find a new cleaner. And even if you're not using the marketplace, I would encourage you to reach out if something goes wrong with your main cleaners that you already have, because like I said, life happens. And maybe if you're a bit hesitant to give the marketplace a try, you can reach out to our team and we will help you find a cleaner that will connect with you and do a good job at your property.
Yeah, that's a great point, actually. So even if you've never used Turno before and you're in a bind, you need a last minute cleaner, you can get in touch with you guys and find one.
Exactly.
And if you are using Turno, that guarantee, if one cleaner doesn't show, Turno will make sure that another one does and get them round to your property ASAP.
Yes.
So really worth its weight in gold. Don't be cleaning the toilets like I was once. So then, Isa, if you could give every host just one piece of operational wisdom before their next peak season, what would it be?
Wow. Take the time to work on your operation. Use Turno and take the time to set up your Turno account. If you are lost, you can chat with support. You can email us at help@turno.com. Our team will be thrilled to help you set up. It's not even just our support team. We also have internal customer operations team and a customer success team, and they can all get involved and help onboard you. And the best thing you can do is prepare before the high season. Like, you have to know, when is your high season? Is it the summer? Is it, Thanksgiving? Is it during the winter? Is it, like, when do you get your high season? When is the time you get the most bookings? And prepare for it. This is something that we do in the support team as well at Turno, because our high and low seasons are so well defined these days that it helps us know, whenever the high season ends, we get into preparation mode and learn from what happened in the past high season. What did we learn from it? How can we do better next time? And this is something that we will be doing soon, starting September, October. That's when we get into this preparation mode. We forecast how many support chats we are going to get next year, and how can we prepare for it? How many support agents do we need? What are the operations that we need to improve on? What do we need to change in order to provide the best support that we can for our customers? And I highly encourage hosts to do this as well, right? It's a very seasonal thing to have a short-term vacation rental, and you can prepare by doing this post-mortem, as we call them. Just what went well, what didn't go so well, what can I improve on? And if you need some tips, like I said, you can reach out to us. We'll probably know how to help you.
Great tips, Isa. Yeah, fantastic. And yeah, if you need a cleaner, if you need an emergency cleaner, make sure you check out Turno. I found my cleaning team on Turno, and they're doing a fantastic job. So I can highly recommend them. Just before you go then, Isa, if people want to reach you or Turno, where should they go?
They can find Turno on Instagram and TikTok and on LinkedIn as well. And on LinkedIn, you can also find me. I'm Isa Bortolossi there. You can feel free to connect and send a message, and I'll be there to help you if you ever need to know anything. If you want to learn more about me or my team or what we're doing, I'll be happy to help.
Fantastic. And we'll put all those links in the show notes. Isa, it's been a real pleasure. Thank you for joining us on Turnover Tactics.
Thank you so much, James.
If you found value in this episode, please like and subscribe. It genuinely helps other hosts find this show, and that's the whole point. Turnover Tactics exists to make the operational side of hosting smarter, smoother, and a lot less stressful wherever you are in the world. This episode was powered by Turno, the ideal platform for finding trusted cleaners and putting your turnovers on autopilot. Hit the link in the show notes to find out more. Thanks for joining us on Turnover Tactics. Until next time, happy hosting.